Enjoy reading the story on Manga Funny channel.
In the previous episode, we left off with DIORWELL talking to his leader and asking the chicken some questions, yet he still couldn't believe that the chicken was the princess. Let's continue from here. Why don't we save the kiss for another day, princess? I thought you'd never ask. DIORWELL said, "It's time to leave now, your majesty. Let's go, princess." At that moment, he opened the cage and took her along, realizing he couldn't keep her imprisoned like that. "Your Majesty, there's something I should mention regarding the princess's transport. Is this how you treat the princess of a kingdom? This is for the best. You're not a prisoner of war or anything. We can't exactly transport a royal in a bird cage. Not that we can transport a chicken by horse or carriage either. Look. Being angry won't get you anywhere." She pecked his hand hard, making him yell in pain. "What is the meaning of this, princess? Stop petting me and grab the reins, your majesty. I'm only putting up with you until we get out of here because of my curse. Understand? In case you didn't know, if you cause an emperor physical harm, it's usually considered treason. Then punish me." "What? By all means, go ahead. If you don't mind going down in history as the Empire's first ruler to punish a chicken for treason, that is." He recalled, "History of Croatia, the dark side," with an angry expression. How dreadful. Both were riding through the forest, seemingly having noticed something. "What's with this formation? Since we need to fight our way through as fast as possible, we've ditched all the unnecessary baggage." "Fight your way through? Are things that bad? Why do you think I came all this way myself?" "Don't worry, that's precisely why I brought DIORWELL along. Despite how he may appear, he is still a grand mage, and he's carrying loads of jewels belonging to the imperial family, so he'd better do his part." "Then those jewels?" "They're all mana stones, amounting to half a year's worth of the Empire's budget." "Is that really necessary?" "Your Majesty, we've almost arrived at the thorn bushes." He instructed DIORWELL to cast a spell. DIORWELL performed practiced motions to cast a protective circle around the soldiers as they advanced. "We're about to resort to our last defense. Everyone, get ready." "Yes, sir. Your Majesty, I appreciate your resolve. But what was all that talk about the thorn bushes? This doesn't make sense. I wasn't lying. Those thorn bushes were monstrous, each over 2 meters long. They tossed around my knights like rag dolls and stabbed them. Were there a lot of casualties? No, none of them were killed. And I've been seeing that building for a while now. Isn't that the Imperial Palace of Croatia? It's literally a stone's throw away." "A stone's throw away? Do you know how long it took to get from there to your castle?" "Croatia Empire. Probably not even half a day. Like I said, those thorn bushes, listen, you don't know just how vicious they were. Syenn Kingdom." Sure. But who are you to complain about their viciousness anyway? You're the true villains for crossing into my country without permission. From the way you describe it, it seems the thorn bushes were more like knights that stood to protect Syenn." "Princess, do you think the river only belongs to the Syenn Kingdom? What's that supposed to mean?" "I'm saying our situation was dire enough that we had no choice but to forcibly enter your country." "If that wasn't the case..." Soria looked at the solemn Lennox in silence, as if to comfort him, realizing he had concerns he'd rather not share. The moment they arrived at Croatia's imperial palace, she immediately made a run for it. "Not my problem." She flew off, leaving everyone unable to catch up, surprised that a chicken could fly. "Soria." They both arrived at the resting spot, discussing the princess. "Was I mistaken, DIORWELL? Can chickens actually fly too?" "Please do not worry, your Majesty. We have people looking for her, so she will be found soon." "Don't you know how many chickens there are in the world, DIORWELL? Even if we fail to find her, she will quickly realize how harsh the outside world is. Then she will naturally return here on her own. Actually, now might be the perfect time to bring this to your attention. Bring what to my attention? Are you absolutely sure that chicken is Princess Soria? The thorn bushes retreated when they saw her. But weren't they the work of the mage, who cursed the Syenn kingdom? As if the curse wasn't enough, the mage created the thorn bushes to keep that princess trapped in the castle. But then why would the thorn bushes have cleared the way for her? Are you suggesting the chicken might actually be the mage? And that he's posing as Princess Soria? I simply believe we shouldn't completely rule out that possibility. You think the mage could have gotten trapped in his own curse? For over 100 years at that? Sometimes spells can have a different outcome than the caster intended. Plus, the only proof we have that she indeed is the princess is her own words. What a headache. Either way, let's just focus on the meeting right now. DIORWELL, go fetch any white chicken. Wait, do you mean? Why don't we send the nobles home for today and postpone the meeting until we find the princess? An unmarried, heirless emperor insisted on embarking on this expedition with half a year's budget for the empire. I'm sure you know how important this matter is. So I can't just tell them to go home now, can I? Forgive me for my oversight, Your Majesty. If you understand, go fetch me a white chicken. Those people are servants. Those are all nobles. Those are knights. At that moment, she hid in the bushes near the castle, observing carefully, unsure how to get inside. Since there are no heroes or warriors in sight, I'll just have to settle for a knight. I'm looking for a knight wearing a golden insignia of a hawk. Confidently, she stepped into the castle, feeling safer than outside, where there were many enemies of chickens. To find him, I need to go where the Imperial Guard are. Which brings me to the Hawk Order. It had been 3 days since Soria ran away from Lennox. Every night, screams could be heard from the Hawk Order. Ow, that hurts! And a chilling rumor began to spread. In the previous episode, we reached the part where she stepped into the castle, feeling safer than outside, where there were many enemies of chickens. Let's continue following the story from here. A chilling rumor began to circulate about the Hawk Order, which provided the closest protection to the emperor. The servants gossiped among themselves. Have you heard the rumor? So many knights have already fallen victim. Someone would pull on their lips in the middle of the night and then run away. What kind of pervert would do such a thing? At that moment, 2 people standing nearby overheard the conversation and said, "It's Princess Soria. I think so too." All the affected knights were part of the Syenn expedition. She must have thought one of them could help her. That's fine and all, but why would she pull on their lips and run away? Is that her idea of a kiss? That's not how it happens in all those beautiful fairy tales. She's a chicken, so she probably can't help it. Yes, that's been giving me quite a headache these past few days. Alright, this here is Princess Soria. Are you sure, Your Majesty? She's actually a chicken. This won't do, DIORWELL. If we can't catch her by regular means, we'll need to set a trap. At this moment, Princess Chicken was lying warmly in the coop, the sunlight waking her as she jumped out. Thankfully, no one else seems to be around. This has been a complete waste of time. Oh geez. Please don't tell me the Emperor is meant to be the hero who breaks my curse. That's going to be a problem. How am I supposed to sneak into his bedroom? No, that will only be the very last resort. Let me go through all the knights first. And if I'm still a chicken, only then will I consider a different approach. You've got this, Soria. You can do it. She waited until nightfall, then snuck out to find a little something to eat. Maybe it's because of the increased security, but the air feels especially chilling. Sir Chen, I don't know how many kisses you've had so far, but I'm sorry. I'll make it quick. Unfortunately, she stumbled into his room, but he had anticipated this and was waiting for her. Here I come, Sir Chen. He grabbed her and said, Long time no see, Princess Soria. She cried out, echoing throughout the castle, Let go of me. How dare you grab a lady's leg? He said, "It's a chicken's leg for now, so there's no issue. Anyway, I believe you and I have some things to discuss. Can't you stay still for 1 second?" Sheesh, what idiot would stay still in this situation? After she yelled at him, he stuffed her into a sack, tying the opening tightly despite her desperate struggles. "Let go of me this instant. If you don't pull me out of here this second, I'll burn this entire sack. Before you do, you ought to think about where you are right now. Do you want my tiny kingdom that badly? To tell you the truth, your kingdom is no bigger than a duchy to me. Trust me when I say this. With Croatia taking up 1/3 of the continent, I have no desire to acquire your small plot of land. What I want is something else, the Syenn River that cuts through the center of your kingdom. Are you kidding me?" Then, he opened the sack to let her catch her breath before continuing the conversation. "Like you just said, that river cuts through the center of Syenn. How's that any different from just wanting my entire kingdom? Just out of curiosity, do you know what state that river is in right now? I'm sure it's flowing fine as always. I wish that were true. However, the Syenn River stopped flowing more than 50 years ago due to a blockage midstream. What? Are the thorn bushes responsible? I don't know the exact cause, but that's our best guess. Either way, it wasn't as serious a problem just up until 6 months ago. Water doesn't only come from the earth, it falls from the sky too. Are you experiencing a drought? Yes. Would you believe me if I told you that for the past 6 months, there hasn't been a single drop of rain in the south? My goodness, I understand now. So that's why the ruler of a great empire personally traveled to a small kingdom that's been neglected for over 100 years. It was for the sake of his people. Now, aren't you a kind-hearted emperor? What? I'm saying you're much kinder than I thought. Do you mean that? Yes, why wouldn't I? I'm just doing what any emperor ought to. No one's ever complimented me like this before. Why, of course, you must have carried quite a heavy burden until now. This feels kind of strange. He stormed out angrily, opening the door to find Orwell standing outside. Then he pulled Orwell into the room, and Orwell was left utterly confused. What's the matter, Your Majesty? I think you were right, Orwell. That princess? No, that chicken must be the mage after all. What? I beg your pardon? He was trying to explain what had happened. All three were baffled, looking at each other with confusion. I will make sure to compliment you regularly from now on, so please stop, Your Majesty. Don't you twist my words. That chicken has the ability to manipulate people's emotions. That proves your theory right. All she did was compliment him. Your Majesty, are you saying that because... Do you honestly think I'm kind-hearted, Orwell? Doesn't realize he's dissing himself. Listening to their ridiculous conversation, Soria had this thought. Perhaps the Croatia Empire might see its end soon. Guy can't even take a compliment.